Hello everybody and welcome to Happy Souls. We have someone really special in store for you today. Her name is Sarah Nally and she is my spiritual mentor. She has taught me all the woo-woo that I know. I adore this woman. If you are not somebody that believes in woo-woo, she is someone for you. If you are somebody that believes in woo-woo but just wants to take it to the next level, she's also for you. She's a beautiful soul. She's a mother of two. She's the type of person that just, when you're around her and her energy, she just makes you smile. She's just a gorgeous human. We talk about energy cards. We talk about crystals. We talk about all the things that we're not meant to talk to, and we talk to them, and we'll talk about them for a good hour. I can't wait to bring you beautiful Sarah Nally. She's a gorgeous human. So if you want to hear from more people like Sarah, please subscribe because we would love to bring you more people like her. See those stars in the sky? She's one of them, and we know that you are too. So welcome to Happy Souls. Hello everybody and welcome to Happy Souls. Today we have Sarah Nally, who is like my spiritual mentor, who gives me all the woo-woo love and tells me to do all the things, and she makes me feel really normal too.
Yes,
I'm
your ultimate weirdo.
You are my ultimate weirdo and I just love you to bits.
Oh, I love it. I love you.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah,
Oh,
we were
stop
like,
it.
let's just hug on the couch.
Oh! And we just like got changed so we could both wear florals. You know, it's just, people call us sisters sometimes.
Yeah, we get that. Can you see?
Yeah.
Can you see? I need my middle part. She's got the best hair, seriously.
You just don't cut it, that's what you do.
Okay,
Now-
hair tips.
You are a wealth of knowledge. We would honestly sit here for 4 hours because you're amazing. You're not shy to be you. And that's what is the best thing about you. Like, what people see is who you are.
Yeah.
And it's so refreshing and so beautiful.
Aww.
And you have the most divine story. Are you
I feel like we're on a date. I'm falling in love. She's looking me in the eye when she's saying this, and I'm just getting all the love beams. We've got our
crystal here.
quartz in the middle here. Just
We're going to woo-woo right now.
yeah.
You're not ready for it. You'll be ready for it in a second.
Yes.
Sarah, I want you to tell everyone about your story because it's very... It just kind of blows your mind a little bit.
You've amped me up. I'm just a normal girl.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I'll just sit back here and I'll just wait for you to tell your story.
So I was just a normal girl, born in Melbourne, amazing family. I'm one of 4 kids, and I moved from Melbourne to Tassie. Grew up in Tassie till I was 14. Moved back up to Melbourne. Just went to a normal high school, but always felt a little bit weird and maybe felt like I sort of didn't fit in. Like for me, I remember being like a 15-year-old girl sitting down on the beach looking at the sky and just like trying to figure out what stars really were. Like I knew scientifically what they were, but I was like, I'm really frustrated that I don't understand where they came from. And, you know, having been to a Catholic girls' school, I sort of liked the idea of this sort of spirituality stuff, but I hated organised religion. Like, it almost made me flare up whenever we were in religious classes. And I was like, the rebellion against that. Like, I then went through this stage where I was like, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in any of this organised crap because it's just too structured and it doesn't feel right. You know, it feels like it's just being shoved down my throat. But I also had this desire to do well in the world. And I think...
You knew that you were one of those stars, huh?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I think we're all those stars. I think we are all those stars. But the do well in the world is interesting because for me, I've pivoted that in the last 12 months. I now want to do good in the world. But I got sort of caught up in this whole concept of like doing well and being successful. And I think that's the first time maybe I tried to just fit in. Was, okay, if I can...
What is success?
Yeah, if I can do well at school. Oh, okay, hang on. When you do well at school, people like you a little bit more. And then they want to know how you did that. And then how did you get into that course? And how did you do that? And how did you get that job paying that? And it sort of becomes this very interesting algorithm that you kind of get caught in where it's like this plus this equals this. So I studied a Bachelor of Business HR Psychology. If I'd been honest with myself, that probably wasn't my calling. But I did it because I thought it would help me do well in the world. You know, I'd be able to get a good job and be able to be in society and tick the boxes.
Yes.
And I ticked some boxes. I went through and I got amazing jobs, and by the time I was 21, I was earning $100,000, which was a lot of money for a 21-year-old, and I felt pretty successful. And then I ended up working for one of Australia's largest banks. So went fully into the corporate world, and like I giggle because I don't look like a banker, I hope.
I don't think bankers wear lipstick.
I don't think
you
they
look
do.
fabulous.
Thanks, darling. But like even when I was working there, I was still in the pink, like and expressing myself, because it didn't matter. Even though I was trying to fit in, I kind of always stood out. Like I kind of always did have this sense of confidence and self, and I totally thank my parents for that. Like
it's almost like a perception, like you've got blonde hair and you've got pink lipstick, you're going to be stupid.
Yes, definitely.
So you need to prove yourself in order to
yeah. And it's interesting, you've hit a little trigger point that used to really get me going, because within that corporate world I became a bit addicted to the whole I need to prove you wrong thing. And the interesting thing is when you get on that path of trying to prove people wrong, you can. You know, you actually can along the way. You can be the smartest person in the room, and you can kick all the goals, and you can hit all the targets, and you can become this sort of hyper successful person. But I found that the more I did that, the less I lost like me.
You lost yourself.
I lost me.
Of course
and
you
I
did.
had this little epiphany the other day, and I was like, you know, the soul isn't this fixed thing. It's not like a SIM card that gets clicked into a phone. Like it's actually more like a Wi-Fi signal that kind of comes and goes. And actually the strength of that signal depends on how often you groom it, how much you take care of yourself, you know. Self-care, self-love.
Self-care.
Plug in your iPhone.
Yes.
Make sure that it's got a full battery. Make sure it's close to a router, and it will have a stronger Wi-Fi signal. So there's this like little algorithm to make sure that that signal's right? Imagine if we realised that's the same with us. Like, take care of yourself, nourish your body, nourish your spirit, do things that make you feel good, and that connection with self will get stronger and stronger.
And you're a mother of 2.
Yeah.
And you still take care of yourself.
God forbid.
Yes, I know, huh?
I know.
As mums, we're like, oh,
I know.
no, I can't do that. Oh, no.
I know this sounds crazy, but 4 days after having my first daughter, I was actually in getting a manicure.
Yeah, because that's what lights you up.
I was like, I just want to do little things for myself that make me feel like I've looked after me while I'm nourishing this human who is, let's be honest, like eating you.
Yeah. Seriously. Like a cow.
You know? So how do you, make sure that you're kind of prioritising self and looking after yourself? That's something I've been really passionate about since day dot, and Sienna's 6 in April next year, so 6 years of...
That's amazing. And look at you, like it shows. Hello. Hello.
Doesn't mean you always get it right, though.
Oh, you do.
Oh, you do too.
So you're working at a big bank.
Yeah.
And then, so what was your position there? Like, what were you doing?
Okay, so I was, I started as a resource manager.
Yeah.
And within 3 months, they promoted me to a senior resource manager, and then I ended up running resource management. So resource management, just to kind of break it down, was basically as part of the technology teams, I would help build technology teams. I had 5 resource managers who worked with me. The bank would say we're going to spend $100 million on projects. We'd go through a prioritisation process. We would build the teams to execute those programs. We had 140 contractors working for us, and life was pretty busy. It was kind of cool. Like, we recruited a lot of people, and we trained a lot of people, and we made sure that we were putting people in the right roles to keep them happy. And we rolled out some pretty cool programs.
And how many people did you have under you at that time?
I had 150 in the reporting line.
Wow.
And then our resource pool had 6,000 people. So there was a lot of people involved. And our thing was we wanted to put the right people in the right roles at the right time, but we also wanted to make sure that we were developing them. And I uncovered my passion for people development in that role. So,
and you proved yourself.
Yeah.
To 6,000 people.
Yeah.
You got
We got the job done.
Yeah, you got it done.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And in that, I had some extraordinary opportunities. I got trained as a design thinking coach through change management, became what we called a trusted advisor, went through the leadership coaching, went through all of these different things, and this smorgasbord of learning activities that I had access to inspired me to think differently about the way that we develop people. And so we ended up rolling out the Marcus Buckingham Strengths Finder for our resource pools to understand a little bit more about our people. And we started looking at things like positive psychology and positive language, which just is
great to do that in a corporate
world.
I
was going to say, like, it sounds like, oh, cool, like that's normal, but in an environment like that, that was actually considered woo-woo.
Yeah, that's very weird too.
I'm like, oh, this is woo-woo. This is like this much woo-woo we could go, you know. But yeah, it was pretty fun.
So was there any pinnacle moment that you had where you just go, all right, this isn't working for me?
Someone left, and then someone else left, and then my manager left, and I ended up doing those jobs. So suddenly I was doing 4
on your own
people's jobs, and I was being paid the same, and I actually did it.
I got by. I
still got by. I said I managed expectations. Not everything's going to get done, but we sort of got by, and then I got unwell. So it happened all at once. I was at work one day and I wasn't feeling so great, and I went, I just need to head home. And my mum and dad know I'm one of those people. I burn the candle at both ends.
Oh, I couldn't tell. I didn't know that. No,
just like I'm good. I'm not good. You know? So I went home, had a little nap, got up, went to the fridge to get some orange juice, and as I was walking to the fridge, I started to feel really weird, and I tried to call my brother, and he answered the phone, and my speech started to slur, and I collapsed.
Wow.
And I was taken to hospital. So I had what they think was a mini stroke. Transient ischemic attack. I was 28, 29.
Oof.
Yeah, young.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, really young.
Yeah. And healthy. And successful. You know, running at it, getting things done, feeling pretty good about life. So I wouldn't have called myself a stress head. I wouldn't have said I was suffering stress, but then when you're sitting in a neurologist's office and they're saying this is potentially caused by stress and you need to have less stress in your life, I was like, oh,
what?
But how do you get rid of stress?
Yeah. At that time, did you have any sort of self-love practice?
Not really, no.
No.
I like shopping, if that's considered self-love.
Yeah.
But I didn't really invest in my well-being.
You didn't feel like you needed to.
No, and I had...
You didn't have that tipping point.
Yeah, I'd slowly lost that Wi-Fi signal, that connection with self. So I'd stopped journaling, and I'd stopped taking walks along the beach, and I'd stopped taking that time out to just connect with Sarah. And it was actually then the next 6 years that has really fundamentally shifted my whole existence around that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what happened? So then you were in hospital, and then you went straight back to the corporate world?
Yeah, I went back to work.
Oh, yeah. How long were you off?
I took a couple of weeks off.
Yeah.
And, didn't hear from anyone. So...
Like, you have 6,000 employees.
Or people in the team, yeah, in your larger team. Yeah, and I think 3 people knew.
And not one of them contacted you and asked if you're okay?
No, and then when I did get back to work, my manager actually said, well, do you have a doctor's certificate?
He did not.
To prove what's happened?
He did not.
Yes, to prove what's happened.
Did he not want to go to the hospital and see you in a hospital bed?
No, it was pretty shit, actually. And I went to HR and I said, I feel really horrible about the way I've been treated here. I feel like people think I'm making it up. I feel like I've gone a bit insane, actually. I was like, where's the love?
Yeah, because you give so much.
Yeah, so it was a very, very strange and surreal experience. And because of that, I then just got on with it. So I didn't talk about it. I didn't really acknowledge it. I
Which
didn't
is
think
FYI,
about
the
it.
worst thing to do, as
Totally
we know
the
now.
worst thing to do.
Yeah.
And just pushed on and then continued to explore in the background things like hypnosis and meditation. And
You never told anyone.
no, because I actually thought people might think I was weird. Well, find out I was weird.
Yes.
Be honest, not think you're weird.
Guess what? It's okay to be weird.
Yeah. In fact, that's what makes you wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you stay in that job long?
Actually, and I believe everything happens for a reason. After that, I had this inspired idea. It actually came through because I was studying hypnosis. So I got hypnotised. It made me feel fantastic. So I went and studied hypnosis and became a qualified hypnotherapist. Yeah. And then discovered meditation, neuro-linguistic programming, and sort of started to dive a little bit deeper around this whole mindset thing. I'd looked at positive psychology and I'd looked at growth mindset by Carol Dweck, and I was like, wow, hang on a second, this is cool. Like, there's this emerging research that talks about this concept called neuroplasticity, which is not what we grew up with. It's not, we got told that you were born with that brain that had that, like, number in terms of an intelligence quota, and that's not the case. And I actually ended up pitching a concept to the group executives at Combank to create an event called Wired for Wonder. And to my surprise, I'm sitting on my couch, I send off this little pitch deck, and 5 minutes later I get back an email saying, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, and you're like, what? Yeah, wow, what?
I didn't have to go in and ask for money or anything like that. It was just like, yeah, let's do it. So I was in that job for a little bit, but then very quickly this new program kind of took off, and then I got asked to go off and do some design thinking coaching, and before I knew it, I'd phased out of that job and had been given a new job, and my new job was Program Manager of Innovation. And I was one of the first resources of innovation in my title, which made me really, really happy.
If only it said innovation woo-woo. Yeah.
No, I actually said, can I not be called like Magic Wonder Lady or something?
Unicorn.
I had asked that. It wouldn't fit in the HR top umbrellas, but that's okay, because that's where, for me, that wonder journey really started, and I started to realise that all the things that I had thought made me weird actually made me wonderful, and I became this permission space. I became Sarah, and I also gave other people permission to be them, and that was pretty cool.
It's still pretty cool. You're still doing it now. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So you had some incredible speakers.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Who were they?
So it's weird that we're talking about this, because this morning I was on Facebook, and you know Goldcast, that has like all those millions of followers. They've picked up a few of the talks that I produce for Wired for Wonder.
No way.
Yeah, and they've had millions and millions and millions of views. So some of the people who maybe weren't so well known, like Dan DeParney, who's this incredible meditation guide. He was a Hindu priest who now does meditation in New York. His talk has had like 17 million views. He talks about energy vampires and meditation, and we had him nearly 7 years ago now, talking in front of a group of suits about meditation, which was really cool. Dr. Lynn Gribble, we had Jill Hicks, we had Nolan Bushnell, who gave Steve Jobs his first job. We brought out Brene Brown, who...
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, me too.
She's like my spirit animal.
Well, she's amazing. Like, she's everything. You know, she's this well of knowledge and spirituality, and she makes it really understandable. And
did she talk about vulnerability and shame back
She
then?
did.
Yeah.
So that was the talk we asked her to give. And I think the joy for me through a program like Wired for Wonder, which I've done my last one now, so running with the program for 6 years, I've hung up my boots and handed that on to someone else. But creating that program was about creating a space where people could share a talk that they maybe hadn't given before. And so normally when a speaker is asked to come into a corporate and deliver a talk, it's to somehow meet with some strategic objective or priority. Whereas we actually specifically briefed them that we wanted them to be open and polarising, and to help people understand that there's contrast in the world, and to expand their thinking and really get people, you know, excited and inspired. And as a result of that, people talked about different things. We had Cindy Gallop talking about the future of sex tech, and we had Nolan Bushnell, who gave Steve Jobs his first job, the future of education and creativity. Jared Lanier, who is just another big speaker in the US. God, we've had nearly 200 speakers out.
And this is like, you kind of injected a little bit of woo-woo for people.
Definitely. I'd like to sort of say that I hid the vegetables.
Yes.
You know? There was this open-mindedness to it, and it had to be done in a way that didn't make people uncomfortable because it was put on by a bank, and it was about creating innovative thinkers. But for me, the thing that stops innovation is not, I don't know, it's not like programs in a business. It's not, people who don't have the skills. I believe every single human on earth is capable of being innovative and creative.
Absolutely.
It's just about mindset. And for you to open that mindset, you kind of have to explore contrast and polarity. And to explore contrast and polarity, you have to do it in a way that doesn't freak people out, so they don't shut down. Because there's all these parts of our brain that if we're sensing fear, somehow it's going to make us feel threatened, we'll actually shut down and we won't learn it. So Wired for Wonder was actually about getting people into a state where they felt safe and comfortable in an environment that allowed them to feel open, and then gently providing them with topics and ideas that were maybe just on the outside of what they were kind of used to.
But still safe for them.
Totally, because...
Still safe. You're in a safe place.
Yeah.
And everything is okay, and there is no judgment.
And you're not being told what to think or how to think or what to wear or how to do it, but you are being shown these incredible, amazing humans who are living their wonder, and they give you enough, like you see enough over the couple of days where you go, whoa, if they can do it, maybe I can too. If JP Sears can get up on the stage and talk about embracing your weirdness and maybe going paddle boarding with a goat, maybe you'll want to paddle board with a goat too. And that's okay. So it was just about, creating these case studies to give people permission, because, again, we talk about diversity and inclusion. We're all one. Like, we don't need to worry about that stuff if we all just chill out a little bit and realise that we're all
not
amazing.
Here to compete.
We're not
just
here to compete.
exist.
And each of us has a soul algorithm that is our individual algorithm, and that's us, right? And then our job in life is to express our wonder. And your wonder is different to my wonder, but they are equal.
And we're all here to make a difference in some sort of capacity, but you have to do the work and the woo-woo to be able to sort out who that is.
Mine. Look in, peel back the layers, and keep questioning and be curious. And when you hit something that feels uncomfortable, you're onto something.
Yeah.
Instead of going, oh, that feels uncomfortable, I'm going to walk away and hide, celebrate it.
Yeah.
Like for me now, when I find I'm triggered by something or I'm feeling really uncomfortable, I get excited. I've trained myself to get excited because I know that I'm getting some sort of breakthrough.
And something that we were just talking about is when we get sick.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you have such a great outlook on when we get sick, because what do you call it?
I call it upgrading, because, the whole positive psychology and the power of your mindset and, the healing mindset and understanding that, we have this incredible inbuilt pharmacy in us that can only be activated if we're in the right state, is something that I think, I'll be empowered by that. So instead of going, oh yeah, I'm really sick, and I feel horrible, and telling myself all of these things, I've created and adopted this mindset of, okay, I'm getting an upgrade.
And it's
so it's time for me to chill and nourish my body and meditate and drink lots and lots of water, because at the end of this, I'm actually going to feel like a new human.
And not mask it and go get the pills from, sometimes they're necessary, but not just rest. It's
rest.
your body telling you
and sleep.
To chill out.
Sleep is
to sleep
everything.
And to rest.
Yeah. Like, you don't understand how important sleep is until you have a child.
I have one and you have two, and
and the first night that you don't sleep, you hate the world the next day. And the first night that they don't sleep, you hate the world the next day. And then when they start to sleep and then they regress, you just suddenly get this immersion around, oh my God, sleep is everything. So when you're sick, go to bed.
Yeah.
For 24 hours and take a book.
A day off.
Yes. And keep your germs at home.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I
And the
hate-
rest of us.
Oh, the warriors who like dose up and soldier on
Yeah.
and spread.
My dad always said,
Buggies?
eat concrete and harden up. And I was like, yeah, all right, hero. Yeah.
Thanks, Dad. Soz.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to do that.
I want to go to bed.
We don't want you to soldier on. We want you to do the opposite. Or if you're going to soldier on, then be a little sleeping soldier.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
the ditch.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
little rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I love that. I think
Yeah.
I hear you say it all the time, and I'm just like, anytime I get sick now, I'm like, I'm just upgrading.
Yeah.
I'm upgrading.
And lift. You know, I've had the flu, a couple of times in the last couple of years, and it's lasted 12 hours instead of 72.
Yeah, because you didn't keep on pushing through. You just go, all right, okay, that's it. Body's telling me something. I got to rest. I got to sit down. I got to chill.
Do some reading. Take some crystals to bed.
Now, talk a little bit through the woo-woo. Okay, so obviously,
Me
very
to
much
rocks.
so we're into crystals.
Okay, we're into rocks. So the rocks started, my dad actually worked for Pasmic OEZ, which was a mining company, and he used to bring me home samples.
Oh, he did?
Yes, so
Oh, I
these
love
little
that.
rocks. And so my love of rocks started before I kind of was into like the whole crystal thing.
Because you didn't get
So-
what was happening.
I didn't, but
No.
then I think because of that, I was sort of coded for wonder around, well, I wonder what this is about. And then, you know, in the airports where they used to have those little gemstones, the tumbled gemstones with like the meanings and the properties, I've just always enjoyed actually allowing myself to just wonder if that stuff,
Me too.
right?
Yes.
It's like, why rob yourself of the joy of
Yeah.
like, there could be more meaning to anything in life,
Yeah.
right? And then
And that's
here's
where
the
you get
funny
the whole,
thing.
like, oh, you live in a fairyland.
Well, yeah, I
Okay,
kind of do.
all right, no
My
worries. I'm
fairyland
happy.
is pretty joyful.
Like, I like living in fairyland.
I would rather live in fairyland than
Yeah.
than whatever land
I'm
that
pretty happy.
is in.
I'm pretty happy here, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And for me, that whole concept of like finding meaning and also then giving meaning is something that allows me to really lace my world with wonder. Like I've talked to people about how I use the environment to actually give myself little cues. Like I've coded my environment to go, if I see a purple flower, I ask myself a question, you know, are you feeling aligned? And so now when I'm walking down the street, if I see a purple flower, I go, are you feeling aligned? And then I go, yes. And it's actually
And that's
allowed me to
automatic.
check in
Like
with myself.
that's an automatic thing that you do.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Like, why not create prompts in your actual natural environment that get you to check in with yourself?
Yes.
That's just self-care. It sounds a little bit crazy, but it works, right? So the crystals for me, always loved them, always had them around the house, you know, all that sort of stuff. And then when I had Stella, I was pregnant with Stella, and Stella was really quiet in my tummy, which made me really nervous because I had had a couple of friends tragically lose children. And yeah, like as mothers, this is literally the worst thing you can possibly imagine. And you know, like when they're in your tummy, you're just like praying every day that everything's going to be okay. So she was just this really quiet baby, and I would drink ice water to try and get her to move around, and I'd like poke her and hello, and she'd kind of eventually poke me back. And I was walking past this shop, and there was this beautiful piece of amethyst, and this is a quartz, by the way. But I was walking past this shop, there was this beautiful piece of amethyst, and suddenly she just started like going crazy, like happy, excited, right? And I was like actually doing this thing where I was kind of like walking past and she'd do it, and then I'd walk back and she'd stop, and then I'd walk past and she'd do it, and I was like, that's so weird. And then I went into the shop.
It's not one of these things that you can tell other people and go,
Ooh, the crystal makes my baby move.
yeah.
But I went in and I quietly bought it, and while I was there I bought my first oracle deck. And,
Show us.
oh, this is another one, but like I love cards, so we'll play with these in a second. So I bought an oracle deck and I bought a crystal. It wasn't this big, and I went home with them, and I just slept so well that night.
Oh.
And I know, like, I understand the placebo effect and all that sort of stuff, but like for me, having this little crystal that had really got her excited and moving, Stelsy Bells led me to crystals, and then I got really curious and I went down a full rabbit hole. I started buying books about them. I started trying to understand more and more to get to the bottom of like, what are these and how do they work and what are the medicinal properties? And I had used earlier, actually funny because I kind of say my girls brought me even further into woo-woo, because when I was pregnant with Sienna, I became a Reiki healer.
Now, how did you become a Reiki healer? Was
Okay.
that like a day course or was it like a week course?
No, it's like a day. You go, you learn, you get attuned, and you know every human in the whole entire world should just go and learn hands-on healing, because it's intention-based hands-on healing, and it's just a beautiful thing. So I'd gone with a friend of mine while I was pregnant with Sienna, and it was amazing. Like, you have to experience it to know, and it was incredible. And then with Stella, I found crystals, and they actually went hand in glove with the Reiki. Like, you can use crystals for Reiki healing, and there are healing properties to crystals, and it was really cool to go down this ridiculous rabbit hole around them. And then I got kind of obsessed, and I ended up launching an online shop and providing crystals for magazine shoots and all of this sort of stuff. And before I knew it, I had this like Crystal Baby online store, and it was
Did you?
it went a little bit silly.
When?
It was when Stella was born. So
So that was 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
But what happened to it?
Well, I got busy with other businesses and just sort of.
Oh, I love
it.
it. You're just like, okay, time to move.
Time to move.
Yeah.
Like, it would just, I think if you don't get too wrapped up in things, you can just enjoy them while you're enjoying them. And I did that. It was really fun. I had a few little crystal and champagne nights at my house for girls.
Can we have another one of those, please?
I think we
'Cause
should.
I think I'd like to have one
I think
of
we
those.
definitely should.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
do
about
it.
to,
It's
huh?
like, there's Arbonne, there's Tupperware, there's crystals.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start crystal parties.
I think so. It was a lot of fun. But gathering women together and actually talking about,
Consciousness
and crystals and healing. And for me, healing is a word that, unfortunately, people think you need to be sick to heal. Sickness, healing. For me, healing is an everyday occurrence. Like, we should be looking for an opportunity to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and acknowledge the wounds that we have within as we go. And so I'm not sick and I'm not broken. In fact, I'm perfect just as you are. Yet I take my healing very, very seriously. I look for opportunities to go deeper, and I look for opportunities to understand myself more and keep peeling back those layers, as I said. So I'd love people to think of healing as more of a mining tool.
Yeah. So there's different forms of healing. So you just mentioned Reiki.
Yeah.
There's kinesiology.
Yeah.
There's floating.
Yes.
Which we talked about a little while ago. So that's like the floats that you go into, which you love, don't
I'm
you?
obsessed with.
Yeah. So that's like your time out. Do you have the music playing, or is it on or off?
I go into a full trance, so I actually self-hypnotise myself into a trance because
Amazing.
I love floats because you can get quite deep into a meditative state. And after studying hypnotherapy and healing, I started to go a little bit deeper into the neuroscience of things like meditation and mindfulness and Reiki, and went, well, is there a neurological benefit to some of these woo-woo things? Like, I'm quite woo-woo, but I'm also quite scientific. Like, I want to know the practicality of things. I kind of want to know the sense of it.
Yeah.
And so I went a little bit deep again down a rabbit hole and actually discovered the states, the brain states, and looked at things like the neural oscillation patterns of your brain while you sleep versus while you're just active versus while your brain's in a sort of beta state versus after you've exercised or had sex or done some yoga versus in a float tank versus meditation, and went, hang on a second, we should be playing with these states. Like,
you can get to a DMT high from like yoga and Kundalini.
Yes.
And what else?
Hacking your theta state through things like walking down by the ocean or going into a float tank or meditating or going into a deep hypnotion hypnotion, that's a nice one. Or playing with binaural beats like music and actually using music to influence your mind. Like, playing with all of those different states is really fun, but it's also incredible for your mind. Like, your mind wants to be played with. It's like this incredible piece of technology that actually wants you to play with it. It's like, please, don't just stick everything into autopilot.
Yeah.
Like, that's boring.
Boring for everyone.
It's boring for everyone.
Yeah. Now, the other thing is the energy cards. Now, you mentioned this ages ago, and I bought them within 2.5 seconds, didn't I? So
I think every human on Earth should have a set of cards. And it doesn't matter what kind of cards they are, because if you pick up energy cards, oracle cards, tarot cards, whatever you sort of want to use, it's understanding that these can actually provide you with almost like a query for your database. If you think of your database as being like, I don't know, brain, your soul, whatever you kind of want to call it. But to get to know yourself, to actually get curious and understand what's really going on here, like for me, that's about peeling the layers back and getting to the heart of the matter. Like often we think that that's the problem. if you do the 5 whys or you ask more questions, you'll realise it's actually potentially just why.
Good.
Keep going, why?
I think I know that. I can remember.
Oh, you can remember that, right? The 5
Yeah.
whys. When you go, I feel sick. Why? Because I'm tired. Why? We could do that if you wanted to. Not everyone has time to get curious, though. And curiosity...
They don't want to go.
No, because curiosity can be really annoying because we're actually... When you are curious and you ask lots of questions, you can actually realise you have work to do. Or, like, you were wrong about something. Like, a lot of discomfort can come from curiosity. Curiosity killed the cat, as they sort of say. And so a lot of people feel really uncomfortable about getting curious. And for me, cards are a really lovely way to kind of get...
That's how I do it.
Let them jump out. Get to the heart of kind of what's going on here. So, we won't go into these now because that's a private matter, but the cards that come out may have some insight for you. And if you just use random theory as a way of actually making sense of it, using them as a stimulus to ask yourself some questions, sit down with a piece of paper and go, well, what does this mean for me? Can just provide you with an amazing opportunity to go that little bit deeper when you don't have the time to ask yourself the 5 whys. But the freaky thing is, the more that you do it, the more accurate that they get.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of magic, a little bit of mystic to it.
It is, really. Yeah. Sometimes you think, oh, that makes so much sense. It defies
logic. I actually bought some for my grandmother, and I had drawn her 3 cards. I said to her, let me show you how. So I drew her 3 cards, and I put them out. And she said, oh, okay, now let me have a go. Now, my grandmother's a bit of a card shark, so she got them, and she, fully shuffled. She didn't just do like this. She got them, and she was, doing all these fancy card tricks, not just the, flippy cool thing where you kind of pull them together, but also that one where they go like this, and, flip them back together, and she's bending around, and I was like, whoa, this is the most active I've seen my grandmother in God knows how long. And then she pulled the exact same 3 cards.
Really?
Yes. And she went... that's so weird.
Yeah, give me a look at that deck. Are they all the same? Yeah.
Seriously. And I love that. I love moments where you just can't explain it. Logic defies, and for me, they're called wonder moments.
Yeah, maybe there is something else going on.
And I love that. Why not? People go, oh, that's a bit weird. Great.
Yeah.
Weird's awesome.
Yeah.
Say weird like it's a bad thing.
We're weird and we're okay with that.
We're weird. Yeah. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, high five.
Yeah. I have 42 oracle decks in my study.
Do you really?
I collect them. I collect cards. I think that they are beautiful, and someone's actually taken time to take the tarot, which was created in 1700 something, actually earlier, and modify it. And the deck has been used for divination, but also for play for thousands of years. So.
Now, is there anything else woo-woo that you would suggest that people do?
Yes.
What else?
Where do we start? I start with the vanilla woo. Find out your star sign.
Yeah.
And then find out things like your birth numbers in Chinese astrology, or your life path number. And then keep layering up the meaning. So start with all that cool stuff that's just oh yeah, that's vanilla. Everyone should know their star sign. Everyone should know their, rising moon. Whatever that sort of stuff is. Get a deck and start sort of playing around with them and ask some questions. Go and have a Reiki healing. Have some acupuncture. Do something like go for a float. Try some kinesiology. The cool thing is there's a lot of spiritual kind of practices out there now that are evolving.
And they're becoming more mainstream.
They totally are. And so my advice would be obviously experiment and play.
Yeah.
And then I've got some tips for finding good healers.
Ooh. Ooh.
Good woo-woo people. Because I've been to a lot of woo-woo people. I've tried them all.
I want to try them all.
Yeah, and it's just a curiosity thing. I'm really super curious. I wanted to sort of know, well, what does that one do, and how is that one different from that one? And you start to realize, someone who's done kinesiology may also do a bit of reflexology as well as acupuncture, or someone who does acupuncture may also work with crystals. Someone who does tarot may also do some stuff with crystals. Someone who is into energy healing, whether that's Reiki or there's a lot of intuitive healers out there that kind of work with your energy
popping
body.
Up more now
and
too.
they just sort of say, oh, I'm an intuitive healer. For me, asking a little bit about their story and about how they work and what their kind of philosophy behind things is more important than what they do.
Yeah.
Because there can be people who have gone and they've got all the certificates on the wall and they have all the things, but there's a disconnect potentially. I went to this healer in New Zealand a couple of weeks ago, and I'm laughing even thinking about it. She was the real deal.
Ooh.
Like the real deal. And she did some Reiki, which is just one of the things that she's sort of learnt over the years. But she didn't necessarily do all of the prayers and practices beforehand. She just kind of went with what she wanted to do. And I laughed uncontrollably the whole time. It was
so spot
incredible. Like, it was just this pure joy that was just channeled through me the whole time. And yeah, she doesn't have any certificates on the wall or anything like that. She just is
intuitively knows.
So grounded in joy.
Yeah.
And her middle name is Joy.
Oh, shit.
I loved it so much. And so for finding a good healer, it's like, before you book in, ask them, what is it that you do, and what's your philosophy, and what are some examples of some people that you've worked with and what you've helped them achieve. And don't wait until you're sick to go to one of these people. You know, go when you're feeling well. Like me, I love going when I'm feeling amazing, because instead of going to the doctor when you're sick, like, I go in and work with my good energy.
Yeah, prevention, not intervention.
Or I actually say amplification.
Yeah.
So I went in there off the back of Nurture Her, which was incredible. And I was on this huge high. And I was like, how do I kind of stay here?
Yeah.
You know? And we tapped into that and worked with that and just grounded that. Like, made it that it wasn't going to make me then crash and burn. And I didn't. I felt amazing afterwards. So
there's just so many little woo-woo things, is there?
Yeah.
And Sarah's like, we'll put her Instagram details at the end, of course, but she's such a great spiritual mentor.
Oh, thank you.
She'll just tell you what you need to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I just believe that, honestly, we're all amazing.
Yeah.
We're already perfect. And when we go on a journey with the right mindset, we have all the answers already within.
Yes, and we already know.
I know.
We know already. Yes, you know everything already. Yeah. You just know.
So go to some people who give you permission and the space to come through and to actually connect.
And you know what? If you don't want to tell your friends, don't tell your friends.
No,
just do it
fine.
on your own accord. No one needs to know.
I was secretly woo for a long time.
So was I, about 10 years.
I call myself the cosmic sheep of the family.
Yeah, me too. You live in a fairyland. I go, ooh, okay, well, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's I remember going to a meditation teacher, and she just got me to draw.
Yeah.
This was 10, 15 years ago. Like, just draw and draw and draw and draw. Yeah. And that was for, so long ago. And now it's becoming more mainstream.
Yeah, people are like, oh, there's a science to that. And that, for me, I call that the wonder zone, where science sort of meets the mystic and the arts. We know stuff.
Yeah.
And it feels good. And we kind of want to do it. But then science goes, oh, but we're not entirely sure if that's real. And then 10 years later, science goes, oh, by the way, that's real.
Yeah.
And you go, well, why didn't I just trust that it felt right and that it worked for me? Why do I need to see some medical journal with some clinical study that's been signed off by the right people to believe that that's the real deal? And I think the most powerful thing we can all do is actually ask ourselves, did that work for me?
Yeah, exactly. And not all spiritual healers are going to suit every single person.
No.
So what some feels for one, I remember I went to a psychic a little while ago, and everyone raved about her. It was like, oh my God, she's amazing, she's amazing. She didn't align with me.
And I feel like that still serves a purpose.
Absolutely.
Because you then had an awareness around your own alignment.
Yeah, and it was funny because she just spoke more about my family, whereas other people don't. But I don't know, it was definitely had a purpose, but I don't know, it was almost too opinionated.
And that in itself provides you with wisdom.
Yes.
Because I've been told the exact opposite of what I know to be true. And instead of judging the person, I use that as an opportunity to be appreciative of the contrast.
Yeah.
Because contrast provides us with alignment.
That makes you think too.
Totally.
Yeah, it challenges your own beliefs.
Totally. And so, if we meet those experiences with gratitude and that acknowledgement around our alignment, the next one you go to somehow is just even more amazing.
Woo. Is there anything that you want to talk about today?
What should we talk about?
Oh, I don't know. We could talk all day. We could stay here for like part 3, part 4,
I think the final bit is just around, I went on this journey and, I'm quite analytical. I'm quite, I was always good at science and math and technology and all those sorts of things, but my heart loves all the woo-woo stuff, and I probably felt like I needed to play to my strengths in terms of what the world needed. But actually, when I realised and listened to my heart, that's when my world expanded entirely with wonder. And where I feel like Sarah came home, it was like, I talked about that SIM card iPhone thing before with the whole your soul is in the SIM card. Well, something did click into place for me. So my wish for people is that they tune into that and understand that inner sparkle that they have, that maybe they feel a little bit ashamed of, or
and they suppress.
That they're suppressing.
Yeah.
And actually go, well, maybe that's my wonder. Maybe that's the thing that I'm meant to share with the world. And maybe I am a bit amazing.
Yeah, a bit amazing, exactly. A bit amazing.
Just a bit amazing. Because you are, and you are, and we all are. And I kind of like the idea of getting people to love themselves sick, like as in SIK, because we don't want to be sick.
Yeah.
But like, love yourself and pat yourself on the back when you think you said something funny, or laugh at yourself. Like, people laugh at me because I will say something that I think is really funny, and I'll crack myself up.
I do this all the time.
Right.
I think I'm hilarious.
You are, and good on you.
I am, yeah.
You have to. Someone has to laugh at you. Why not let it be you?
And sometimes I'm so inappropriate, but I think I'm so funny.
So funny. And like, I put things on Instagram with my name on them, and I'm like, when you love what you're thinking so much that you want to put your own name on your quote, I'm like, go for it.
Yeah.
You do you, and you love you, and just do it.
You need to do you.
Yes.
Do you.
Yes.
Not your friends, not your family.
And
not
don't
your
worry
boss,
about being up yourself, because you kind of should be. Don't be like a horrible narcissist, but like love yourself so much that the joy erupts out of you.
Love yourself with kindness.
Yes.
Yeah,
and a little bit of silliness as well.
Yeah,
like,
have fun.
The more
Everyone's
that
so serious
I know,
these days.
right? My inner voice, and I think, obviously the whole psychology thing, people used to be like, you shouldn't have voices in your head. You absolutely need to have an inner voice in your head. And it should be like your best friend. It shouldn't be like a mean, horrible person, which I used to have many, many years ago. My inner voice is actually an absolute cracker. Yeah. And I kind of have this awesome conversation and this inner dialogue now, which cracks me up and makes me, like, even if I'm having a bad day, like, I'll have this little inner dialogue and then I'll kind of smile and go, whoa, that's that whole, the wisdom is within and everything you need is inside and all that sort of stuff. Because when you form that really amazing connection with self and you are able to have a powerful conversation with your inner sparkle, you can literally turn your own frown upside down,
That's I have a question for you. What is the difference between ego and intuition, and how do you tell the difference?
Okay, I love this question because I'm still on a learning path with it. But what I found was I had to, in my mind, start to almost organise the streams of consciousness like they were a Facebook feed, because we have all of these different words and things that kind of pop into your head that help steer you in the direction. And ego is not a bad thing. Ego is only a bad thing when it's entirely at the steering wheel driving everything that you do.
When you let it.
So if you think of ego is there to protect you, to make sure that you do what you need to get done, it's actually on your soul's side. It wants you to shine in the world, but it's almost been programmed in a pretty aggressive manner.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you think in terms of like a Facebook feed, your ego is this strong, opinionated, you should be doing that, that should be you. Why are you not there? That belongs to you. It's on your side, really. But then your soul's a little bit gentler and you can still achieve what you need to do when you're in soul alignment without letting your ego take over. So you acknowledge the ego command, but you actually say, totally get it, we're going to do it this way. So it's this, you want to have a relationship with both. And I think that's hard to kind of explain. But if you start to tune in, ask yourself, is that my ego talking or my soul talking? And over a period of weeks, months, days, minutes, depending on how sort of aligned you are, you will actually start to see that they either look a little bit different or they sound a little bit different or they feel a little bit different. And so you'll be in a situation and you'll go, oh, my ego's taken the lead there. I'm obviously in some way threatened in my environment, that I'm not on path for my soul. So what can I do to get back into alignment? And then even just that conversation with self can pull your ego back in. So hopefully that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's a really hard question to answer, and it's something I really want to start researching more because, I don't know, sometimes, you know, some beautiful soul said to me today, you know, an intuition is a quieter voice and an ego is more aggressive.
And that's it. That's the same sort of thing that I'm saying, because it's like your intuition is your soul and it's a whisper and it can be just gentle because it's so wise. Your soul is so wise and it knows the answer. So it's like, oh goodness, here we go. And then your ego is more like that. Oh, I know what I'm doing. I've got this thing, and I've got like the directive from the boss. I know what we're here to do, and your soul's going, yeah, I know, but there's an easier way. Like you don't necessarily need to kind of do it that way. So it's
masculine versus feminine.
It kind of is. I was going to say it's almost like that youthful versus it's yin and yang, the contrast, the polarity, all that sort of thing. But it is sort of that more aggressive, strong. I've got this. I'm going to take control. I'm going to make sure that we are here and we get done what we need to get done. Versus that gentle, soft whisper of maybe there's an easier way.
Yeah, we're okay.
Maybe we could be in
flow
and
follow
just
me.
Yeah,
come here.
Just let
Let's
life
go.
kind of like
we're okay. I love you.
Yeah, totally love you.
So we're going to finish this up because I know you and me could sit here for 4 more hours, and we probably will do a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
but what is in store for Sarah right now?
Okay.
Because you have so many businesses going on. You're so incredible. Everything that you ever touch just turns into magic.
Oh, thank you.
So where is Sarah right now in business-wise?
The most excited she has ever been. Yeah, because I have run some serious experiments in the whole business world, you know, from a shoe company to a crystal company to an events company to a consulting business. And 2019 sees that all come together into what is a travel education experience organisation, Wonder and Wander. We will be putting on events in Fiji. We will be chartering a flight from LA to Fiji for 250 entrepreneurs. We will be taking a series of curious souls to LA to go into prison to mentor hardcore prisoners in a Hustle 2.0 experience, which is just so cool. And everything we do is about activating curiosity, understanding polarity and contrast, and essentially evolving consciousness. Right? And like consciousness in events and experiences and leveling up and all that sort of stuff. So the thing I'm probably the most excited about is a summit that we've designed in Fiji next year. It's called Evolve 2.0. And it will bring together people to explore contrast and polarity and vulnerability and people who, you know, want to move from that success to that significance and be the most real, authentic, amazing version of them. So that's pretty awesome, right? And then I'm also launching my Wonder workshops, and I'm hoping...
Are they in Melbourne?
Melbourne, Sydney. I'll pop up wherever the world wants me. And it's taken me a really long time to figure out what a Wonder workshop should look like because I came from that corporate background with all that innovation stuff. I was like, oh, it should be for business. And then I sort of suddenly realised, I was like, oh no, it's for humans. There's more soul in this. Like it needs to be about helping people find their wonder. So
that's, I think, where people are just getting lost.
Yeah. So there's that. And I'll write a book. I've written a book and I'll publish a book. And most importantly, I'll have a bloody awesome time, and my little kitties will just thrive, and life's going to be awesome.
So, Sarah Nally, where can we find you? Instagram?
Yep. I'm Sarah Nally Wonder. Yep.
I'm Wonder.
I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, and then we've got the Wonder 7 Wonder to sort of follow like all the events and cool stuff that we put on and programs that we're going to launch and things like that. So...
Well, watch this lady because she's going places. She is just phenomenal. You like being in her energy. You just want to be really happy. I've never seen you sad. You're always smiling. No matter what shit you've gone through in your life, you are still just Sarah.
Aww.
And you're always smiling. You're always happy.
I do cry, but like I do feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd be like a happy cry, like kind of crying with a smile on your face.
I sort of have a kind of funny cry.
Yeah. I don't know. So we love this lady. She's incredible. She teaches me and a lot of other people that are surrounding her to just be you. And if you're a little bit woo-woo, we're here to support you and say, you know what, it's okay. We're woo-woo too. And we're okay with that. And publicly, you know what? We want people to join us.
Woo!
Woo! Yeah, and I know we will do something together. We're still working on that, aren't you? But we will because we just, I don't know.
Maybe it's discover your woo.
Yeah, maybe there's a woo. It is woo-woo.
Some woo-woo.
Oh, hear that? Watch this space. You heard it first.
Explore your woo-woo.
So if you want to hear from more people like Sarah, please subscribe because she's amazing, and there is so many more stars in the world like Sarah that we want to bring you because please follow her and you will smile every day. And next time you get sick, just remember, it's an upgrade.
It's an upgrade.
You're not sick. You don't need to sit there getting miserable. You're getting upgraded. Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Happy Souls.
Bye.
Give me a hug. Give me a hug.
Oh, yes.
Yay. Oh.
Seriously.